Hello, guys. This most recent in our series of regional webinars for students in North America, Central America, and the Caribbean, NCAC as we like to call it. We are really grateful to have a very special guest for this, our sixth webinar in our regional webinar series, Mr. Evan A. Jerome, who will be leading us on a presentation on the pros and cons of online education. We think this session is particularly timely based on everything that is currently going on in the world right now as we grapple with the global health pandemic, and some of us are faced with travel restrictions and safe and healthy health protocols that require us to think more creatively about ways we are going to pursue our higher education. As mentioned, this is a series that we are hosting over the course of the next few months. We launched this a few weeks ago with Education USA Guatemala hosting a Facebook Live on our checklist for undergraduate success. And I encourage you, if you haven't had the opportunity to view any of these webinars that we've hosted, go on to the Education USA Guatemala Facebook page to view those. My name is Amanda Martinez. I am one of the Education USA advisors for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, and I'm joined as always by my colleagues at Education USA who are working behind the scenes to make sure we have a very smooth and fruitful webinar for you this evening. So thanks to them, everybody who's working behind the scenes right now to have a successful webinar. This evening, we're coming to you on Zoom as well as Facebook. And as always, we're going to try to make this as interactive as possible. I encourage you to type your questions, if you're joining us on Zoom, into the chat box, directing them to Q&A Elvira Castillo. And if you're joining us on Facebook, go ahead and type your questions into the comment box and we will make sure to get those answered for you. My colleague from Education USA Nicaragua, Jackson Cruz, is monitoring our Facebook Live right now. So what are we going to be doing here today? We're going to start, as always, with a discussion of what Education USA is, how we're here to serve you if you're an international student looking to study in the United States. I'll then turn it over to our special guest, Evan, who is the Senior Vice President for International Programs at Monroe College, who will lead us on in a discussion on the pros and cons of online education. So looking at maybe some of the challenges to studying online, as well as some of the benefits to earning an online degree. And then we'll wrap up with our Q&A. As mentioned, we want this to be interactive. We want to hear from you. So we're going to have polls. And if you're on Zoom, go ahead and participate in those polls. If you're joining us on Facebook, type those responses into the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. So I think what we'll go ahead and do is just start with our first poll, which is, as always, let us know where you're joining us from. We're a big region, North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. And we'd like to know where you are joining us from. So we're going to go ahead and launch this poll right now. And just take a few moments, if you're on Zoom, to respond to this poll for us. All right, so we'll give it a few moments. Go ahead and vote if you can, just to tell us where you're joining us from. Maybe you're joining us from another region as well. We'd love to hear from you. We'll also have a Google form in the comments and chat box that we're going to ask you to complete. It just lets us know a little bit more information, and we'll highlight if you'd like to receive any updates on future webinars that we'll be hosting. All right, great. I think we can go ahead and end this poll right here, and we have 50% of our viewers on Zoom right now are joining from Central America, 38% from the Caribbean, 13% from North America. So I think we have good representation as always. And as you join, go ahead and let us know in the comments where you're joining us from. All right, so let's continue along. Let's talk a little bit about what Education USA is. Hopefully this is not the first webinar you're joining us for, and hopefully you've visited our Education USA advising centers before. But if you haven't, who are we? We are a US Department of State program, which is a network of international advising centers. We have more than 400 advising centers in 178 countries with dedicated advisors whose goals it is to provide you with accurate, comprehensive, and current information on the US higher education system, as well as the admissions process. We really want to make sure we provide you with, guidance on what we call our 5 steps to US study. Everything from researching your options all the way to preparing for your departure. I encourage you, if you don't know where your nearest Education USA Advising Center is, go on to the Education USA website, which is listed on the screen there, educationusa.state.gov, to learn more about the advising services we offer, as well as where the closest advising center is to you. All of our advisors are currently offering virtual advising to prospective international students, and we are happy to schedule appointments with you to discuss your options. Coming up soon, we have more virtual events for you that we're offering as a region. Our next one will be next week, Wednesday, on what we've termed #Webinar Wednesday. And this is a special workshop where there are limited spaces. My colleague, Maria Luisa Garnica from Education USA Guatemala, as well as many of my advising colleagues, will be providing this free workshop to students on tips and tricks to find the perfect school. So this is a step 1 research your options workshop. I encourage you to go on and register for this. There are limited spaces. It's going to be a great session. And I'll have information on how to register for that at the end of today's webinar. All right, now I think it's time for us to actually get into the meat of this presentation. Let's start with a poll, another poll. This one is more of a quiz question for people on board, and I think Evan's going to be discussing this in his presentation today. When you earn an online degree, it is listed on your diploma as an online degree. Is this true or is this false? So just take a few moments to see for us if this is true or if this is false. We'll go ahead and launch this poll right now. When you earn your degree, is it listed as an online degree? True or false? Well, of the respondents, the majority, all right, we still have a few answers coming in. The majority of you are saying that it is false, and you would be correct. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our featured guest speaker, Evan Jerome from Monroe College. Evan, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're excited to hear what you have to say about online degrees, and I'm going to turn it over to you now. Please go ahead and share your screen if you'd like, and I'm excited to learn more.
Great. Thank you so much, Amanda. Really appreciate it. And I want to welcome everyone to this webinar. It's great to be here. And I also want to wish everyone and their families well during this challenging time. And I also want to give kudos to Education USA, not only for putting this together, but I've been on a few different webinars in the last really few months with Education USA. And they've done a great job, a lot of value, and a great resource for international students seeking to study in the United States. Let me share my screen here. Take this off. Okay. So hopefully you could all see that.
We can.
Great, and I'm going to click this button here. Okay, it's not like full screen right now, but I think that's okay. Let's talk. Okay, we don't have that much time. I'm going to talk for about 20 minutes, and I'm going to give what I hope is a good overview to the pros and cons, or let's say the opportunities and challenges to earning your degree online while you're in your home country. And, one of the outcomes of this pandemic is online education has been propelled, and more students, based on restrictions with travel, are seeking to earn their degree online. So we're going to talk about the pros and the benefits. We'll talk about the challenges and some of the obstacles. And then we'll talk about finding the right fit. How do you, as a student, choose what school and what program is the right fit for you? Okay, first, and Amanda was talking a little bit about it, but just a quick 2-minute snapshot of the higher education landscape in the United States. The United States is really unique in the world. There's really no other country that has the myriad and diversity and just sheer number of colleges and universities throughout the United States. In general, the United States is made up of private colleges and universities and public colleges and universities. Public colleges and universities are more connected to the governments, usually the state governments, and operated with more oversight by the government. Private colleges and universities are operating with a bit less oversight from the government, and they range in size. There are colleges that have 250 students in the United States, and there are colleges and universities that have 150,000 students. Okay, so it's really an incredible landscape, and we'll talk more about that. Accreditation is important. Okay, whatever college or university you choose, and if it's even to study online, you want to make sure that the accreditation is a good one. And in my mind, that means the institution is regionally accredited. Okay. In the Northeast, where Monroe College is, we're regionally accredited by an institution called Middle States Association of Colleges and Universities. So any college or university you're researching, on the About page of that website, you'll see information about accreditation, and do your research, make sure it has a good accreditation. And the reason that it needs to have a good accreditation is because a better accreditation means the academic delivery is going to be at a higher level. And it also means that any credits you're earning at that institution can be transferred to really any other college or university in the United States or the world. Okay, so you want to look for regional accreditation. Amanda brought this up on the survey with the trivia question, but a common question is, if I earn my degree online, when I get my diploma, is it going to say online degree? And the answer is no. To my knowledge, every reputable college and university in the United States, a student who earns their degree online is going to earn a degree that has the exact same name as if you were on site, and your diploma and your college transcript will really not indicate anything that is online. Okay. A couple of terms that are popular now in terms of online education. that you should be familiar with is synchronous online. Synchronous online means you're in a similar time zone to the institution where you're studying, and there could be a class, let's say at the campus in New York on Monday from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., and that class could be a virtual class online as well. So if you're in a similar time zone, let's say you're in the Caribbean or Central America, is a couple hours behind, let's say New York, you can be in that type of class. That's called the synchronous class, okay? Total online means you're going to be enrolled in a web-based online course regardless of time zone. There really aren't time restrictions that you need to be on the computer at a specific time and day during the week. As long as you get your assignments completed, you will be taking that type of course. So that's kind of called online course or total online. Sometimes you hear the word hybrid. I'm doing a hybrid course. Hybrid is a term thrown out in higher education. It's a little vague. It means something sometimes a little different depending upon the institution and the program. But in general, hybrid means a combination of online and on-site, okay? So Monroe College in New York, where our campuses are, we're planning in September to be in a hybrid model where students are going to be doing a lot of coursework with their professors online, but then they'll also be required to visit the campus, okay? Visit the campus, it could be for class time, it could be for research, it could be for tutoring and extra academic support. Okay. So let's talk about some of the pros of earning your degree online. Okay. And I just want to mention for a minute, I know I'm going off topic here, but I've been working at Monroe College for 25 years. I'm the vice president, and I've worn a lot of different hats at the college. I've been in different departments, and I work currently in international admissions. So as I talk to you, I'm talking to you with a little bit more of an admissions hat, a little bit more of a new enrollment hat in terms of the online programs and how they're attractive for prospective students from really anywhere in the world. So what are the pros to earning a degree online? Okay, some of it you know already, but I'll just review it with you. So the ability of flexible scheduling, the ability to not be in a classroom during a specific day and time during the week, wow, that really opens up your schedule, right? So if you're balancing work, if you're balancing family and other responsibilities, now with this pandemic, we know there's other, restrictions in place with travel and, a lot of people working remote. This is a great thing, okay? So it's really flexible scheduling. Another benefit of being an online student is you're a fully matriculated student at the college or university you attend. Okay, what does that mean, matriculated? It means you're enrolled as a full-time student, really in the same way as a student who's in the United States physically and going to the campus. So if you're in the Caribbean or Latin America or South America or Canada, um, you're regarded from that institution as being a full-time matriculated student. Okay, I wrote here, can I connect with alumni after I graduate? Okay, and that's just an example of the answer is yes. Yes, you could connect with alumni. Um, you're entitled to all of the same academic resources, even though you're online, as someone who's an on-site student. Um, a few other things. Earning your degree online usually, not always, but usually is more affordable than if you would attend on-site in the United States on the campus. We know it's more affordable because there's no travel. You don't need to live in the United States and meals, and housing. But a lot of times, colleges and universities will have a slightly lower tuition for the online student. At Monroe College, we'll talk about that later, we have a significantly reduced tuition for international online students. That tends to be a unique thing. I would say at most colleges and universities, the online tuition isn't significantly discounted from the on-site tuition, but you will see a little bit less of a tuition. Okay. Courses organized and mapped out with consistency. There's a structure and it works. If you remember as a student just being on site, one professor or one teacher organizes their classroom one way, the next teacher or professor organizes their classroom another way in terms of the management of it and the organizational structure of it during the semester. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not good. And what I can tell you is when you're in an online program, 9 out of 10 times, every course you take is going to have the same structure to it, meaning each course is going to be on the same platform. For example, at Monroe College, we use Blackboard. And what I mean by structure, for example, is, the professors will provide assignments that they're uploading a certain way. There'll be discussion boards or conversation chat rooms in each of the courses. And without getting into the nitty-gritty of it, there's a certain organization and structure to the online course that students, I think, really enjoy and really appreciate. And we can, leave it with that. And in an online course, I could see students thinking this, that it's not going to be personable, that they're just going to be some user logging in online, and they're not going to get to know their fellow students or their professor too well. And what I have to explain is, and I know this definitely from Monroe colleges, the online courses can be very personable, and the educational delivery of it can be highly personalized, where you really get to know your fellow students and you really get to know your professors. and you have that communication with them. At Monroe College, online students are required to have visitations with their professors during specific office hours during the week. So again, one of the pros of online learning is it can be also very personable, and in many instances, you could get to know your fellow students sometimes more in an online course than you can in an on-site course. Okay, because you know, different things like working in groups, group projects, that's very much encouraged in the online platform. Courses combine independent and team learning, and yes, you meet new people. Okay, so let's go over what are some of the cons of earning your degree online. What are some of the challenges? Okay. Time management. Okay, these are questions you need to really ask yourself. Can you structure your time independently to log in, complete assignments on time, including midterms and final papers? Are you someone who is a self-motivator, a self-starter? Are you organized enough where you can manage your time effectively with your courses? I'll tell you something interesting about that. When we started online courses at Monroe College years ago, in a semester, a student would take, 4 or 5 online courses simultaneously. And what we learned, as well as most colleges and universities around the United States, is that's very difficult for a student to manage doing 4 to 5 courses simultaneously online. So most colleges and universities, including Monroe, have shorter semesters for the online students. At Monroe, we have 7.5-week semesters, and you take 2 courses online every 7.5 weeks. Okay, this is much more effective, and all the data shows online students are much more successful when they're not balancing too many courses at once. Technology connection. Okay, one of the things I mentioned to Amanda today is, I don't know if it's the heat right now in New York, but my internet was a little wobbly the last couple of days. And I said, what happens if the connection is? But so far, so good. So you need to make sure you have reliable internet connection. Okay, I'll say that again. Reliable internet connection, because if you don't, the online program is going to be difficult for you to get through. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be challenging. Okay, so make sure you have that. And I know every region of the world is different, but that's really important to be a successful online student. Okay. And another bullet that I put is lacks the in-person experience. So although I said to you that the online class can be very personable, you could really get to know your fellow students well, and you could get to know your professor. And yes, you can have those magical moments learning online that you can in the classroom. If you're someone who needs to be in that classroom physically, do you need to see that professor right there in the classroom to truly learn? These are the questions you have to ask yourself, because if you're not sure, that's okay, because I recommend everyone does try an online course, even if you think of yourself as an on-site student. but that could be a challenge. Okay, so you need to be someone who can learn through the online medium. Okay, so I wrote this slide here. Okay. So I actually had a good conversation with our head of technology at Monroe College, who oversees a lot of the technology with all the online courses. At Monroe College, we currently have 6,000 students right now taking online courses. And I said to her, what ingredients create a rich online course? Okay. And pretty much similar to the on-site, it's all about the professor, right? You know, so if you have a professor in your online course who is experienced in teaching online, they really know how to leverage the technology. They really know how to communicate and educate through the online platforms. You're going to have a really rich course, okay? And I think one of the silver linings of the pandemic, while all of us are on Zoom and these other connectors, that we're seeing, you still can get a lot done working through technology and learning through technology. So, so what makes a great online course? So, you know, a great online course is when, you know, your professor is providing really rich resources. They could be showing you clips of a documentary, audio clips, film clips, interviews regarding the topic they're discovering. You know, hundreds of other resources, really leveraging, I wrote the information age, leveraging Google to, you know, get the academic delivery delivered to you in the best way they can, okay? What are the technology requirements for online? And this comes directly from our head of technology, so I want to thank her. Like I mentioned, laptop or computer with reliable internet access. Okay, something that I didn't know, but I've got in recent education, cell phones can be utilized for online education. There's a program called Microsoft Office 365. It's an app that you could download onto your cell phone. And that will provide you a lot of the resources to utilize your cell phone for the course, okay? The present and the future cell phone compatibility. So online education realizes that most of the world is on their cell phone more than their laptop or pads. So most of the platforms for online can actually be delivered through a cell phone, okay? Are there limitations to using a cell phone? Yes, there are, right? Can you write a research paper easily on a cell phone? No. Okay, when you're trying to do footnotes, it's hard already, right? Doing that on a laptop or computer. Imagine trying to do that on a cell phone. So we know there's definitely limitations on that. I would say if you do not have access to a good laptop or computer, and you have a good cell phone, I would say you have to check with the online program with the institution you're looking to go to and ask them that question very seriously. Can I do this course through a cell phone? Okay, but it is out there. okay, that is possible. I was getting a little research on this for myself, and I know a question I had, and I'm sure you do, is how do you do exams online from your country? So um, every college and university, I would say, does it differently. But what I learned is the industry norm is that colleges and universities, they work with outside companies. At Monroe College, we work with a company called Respondus and Examity, and those companies actually proctor live exams with the online students. Okay, it's not complicated. It's pretty seamless, but you could, be in a program where you're doing your exams and they're being proctored. Okay, and I mentioned this before, but library resources in terms of the technology will be the same for the online student as they are for the on-site student. Okay, most colleges and universities, in terms of accreditation, they need to ensure that their online students have the exact same access to library resources as the on-site students. Okay. Finding the right fit. What question should you be asking yourself in terms of the online course that you're looking to attend? So, I just want to first mention that, now with this pandemic, and, economically, most people are in a tougher situation, and we know, there's going to be there is a recession already happening in the United States, but every country is impacted by this. But what I want to mention is this is a great time now to invest in yourself. Now's the time to invest in yourself. You cannot control the uncertainties around us, especially with this pandemic, but we can invest in ourselves. So education is I think, a really great opportunity now to invest in yourself. So you should ask yourself, what are your educational and professional goals? What degrees do you want to earn? And professionally, what career are you looking to either advance in or begin a career in? What is your financial budget in earning a degree? Okay, this will dictate what college or university you decide to choose. Okay, and there is a pretty big disparity in terms of tuition with different colleges and universities in the United States. Okay, you could go to a private university in the United States, and the tuition could be $50,000 for an academic year, 2 semesters, which is typically an academic year. Or you can go to a college or university and it can be $10,000. Okay. So financial budgets are important. What is your financial budget, you and your family, with earning your degree? Do you have the right qualities and technology to be successful online? Okay. So hopefully the information we're sharing today will illuminate some different things for you to think about. But can you see yourself as a successful online student? Are you good with time management? Are you proficient with technology? Are you kind of a self-motivator? Okay. Um, do you like being online? Okay. So think about if you're the right fit. Okay. And then what college or university is the right fit for me? Okay. And it's a little daunting, right? There's so many colleges and universities and higher education in the United States. It's a major industry. You know, how do you choose? How do you know which one is the right fit? Um, so if you're looking to study online, do the research, okay? Start narrowing in your schools that you're looking to study. Do the research on their online program. Okay, you want to listen to their students. Do they have testimonials? Can you actually see what the online course actually looks like when you go to their website or you contact the student? How many students do they currently have online? Okay, and when you reach out to that college or university, what is that communication like? Are they responding to you quickly? Are they providing you good advisement? Are they giving you support, even as an applicant, right? Because if you're an applicant and you're not getting timely answers and you're not getting good support and getting clear information, boy, oh boy, when you become a student, it's just going to get worse, right? Okay, so find out what college or university is the right fit. That's really important, okay? Okay, sounds good. Let me talk for just a few minutes about Monroe College and our online degree program. We currently have over 6,000 students taking online courses because we transitioned the whole college to online in March. And I have to tell you, it's going really well. The transition, of course, there was a few glitches, but overall went really well. And in New York, where our campuses are located, we gave out about 250 laptops to students that needed it. We're currently running courses totally online. And those, as I mentioned, are courses regardless of time zone. You don't have to be online during any specific day and time that you could take those courses, okay? And then we're also running synchronous virtual online courses. And again, synchronous is if you're in Jamaica and you are, you can be in a class that's running in New York on Monday from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. You can be in that live class. The professor actually teaching that class in real time. So we have two different programs going on right now for online. As I mentioned before, and I'm really proud of it because Monroe College, we're really dedicated to providing access to higher education for all students and family, regardless of income. I'm really proud of our tuition for online. We have a tuition for undergraduate students that is $3,444 per semester for a full-time online student. And for our King Graduate School, we have an online tuition of $3,870. And we have payment plans available. At Monroe College, just in a quick nutshell, we have different academic schools, the School of Criminal Justice, the School of Business and Accounting, the School of Information Technology, the School of Allied Health Sciences, the School of Hotel and Hospitality Management. We have a nursing program, and this is a good time to mention, there are programs that cannot be completed online, right? So if you are interested in going into nursing and you do not have a degree yet in nursing, you cannot earn your degree online because it's clinical. At Monroe College, we have an amazing culinary school in New York to become a chef. Would you want to go to a restaurant where the chef earned their degree online? No, right? Food might not taste so great. So, make sure, the academic program you're looking to study can be done completely online. Okay, and at Monroe College, really the bulk of our academics can be done online. Okay, I'll also mention, and this is more of my admissions hat, but if you have a goal of someday traveling to the United States to study and to possibly work, but now is not the time you're able to do it, think about studying right now online, earning a lot of credits, and then in the future, you can come and study in the United States for 1 or 2 semesters. It doesn't have to be the full degree in the United States. So I'm talking a lot now to international students around the world who are changing their plans. Start online from your country, earn credits, and when the time is right, you could travel to the United States, receive your visa, and then study in the United States and also have opportunities to work. Let's see, I think we're finishing up here. And Amanda, maybe, I don't know if I have enough time. Should I just show our website really quickly?
I think we can give you another minute, but we did get into questions that I want to get through as well before our close at 6 p.m. So if you want to just pull that up really quickly, I can give you about a minute for that one.
Sounds good.
In the meantime, I'll just say thank you so much for that presentation while you're pulling up the website. That was great. I think there was a lot of overlap between the messages of Education USA and the messages you conveyed in your presentation, specifically as it relates to the best fit, which is something that we prioritize at Education USA as well. So I see you have the website up if you'd like to discuss it a little bit.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to play anything, but I just wanted to show anyone who's listening to this and viewing it that this is our website. And there's a lot of great pages here for the online program, and we have student testimonials. And students, it's very simple. They just go to how to apply, and they click online student, okay? Or if you're looking to study in the United States, international student, and everything is totally online. You can upload all your documents. And I believe the last screen on the slide, Amanda, it has my email address. And I want to let everyone know they can email me at ejerome@monroecollege.edu, ejerome, Jerome, @monroecollege.edu with any questions. Thank you so much.
Thanks for that, Evan. I think that was great. We have some questions that have come in from Facebook as well as from, the Zoom chat. But before we do that, just for our viewers who are still on Zoom, we do have one last poll, which is again more of a quiz question to see if you were paying attention to Evan's presentation. So this one is looking at what technology do I need to earn an online degree? And Evan spent a bit of time talking about this. So the options are a reliable internet connection, a laptop, computer, or tablet, a cell phone, or all of the above. So I think what we can do is go ahead and launch that. Take a minute to just select which one you think is the best answer. What do you really need? for an online degree? And you are right. It is all of the above. We do need primarily a reliable internet connection, a device on which you can access the course materials. And that can be a laptop, a computer, a tablet, or a very, smart cell phone, as Evan was saying. Now, getting into our questions, Evan, for you. You talked at the start of this presentation a little bit about credibility of online degrees, and specifically looking at accreditation. So are there specific accrediting associations that are approved, or do students just need a general accreditation for the programs they're interested in? Are there particular associations that students should be looking at when
Yeah.
they're in programs?
Yes. You want to look at colleges and universities that have what is called regional accreditation. I believe, I'm not an expert in this, I believe there's about, probably Education USA would know, maybe like 8 to 10 different regions around the United States. In the region that Monroe College is in New York, we're accredited by Middle States Association of Colleges and Universities, Mid-Atlantic region. There's Southern Association of Colleges and Universities. And this is the top accreditation you're gonna have. Okay, Monroe College, we have the same accreditation as NYU and Columbia. And that's really, it's really peer accreditation, which is other professionals at other colleges and universities. They have different teams and groups that accredit the institution. So that's what you're looking for, regional accreditation.
Great. I think that's a great tip. My colleague, Margaret Burke, has put in the group chat a link that our viewers can visit if they wanted to learn more about accreditation. You really do want to look for organizations, or not organizations, but institutions that are recognized by regional accrediting bodies, and the US Department of Education on their website actually lists the accreditation as well for institutions. It's a good search tool. So Mo has put that in there. Another question for you at this time: what are you, meaning Monroe College, and other online university programs looking for in their applicants? Are the requirements for online degrees different from in-person degrees? In your opinion, is it easier to be admitted to an online program?
Great question. You know, at Monroe College, once you submit your documents to get accepted that are the same as an on-site student, you have to go through another exercise, which is the online program sends you some very specific questions that you need to answer, and they review your answers to make sure you have the ingredients to be successful in an online program. Okay, and that includes your technology and time management and other different things. So I would say the online student actually has a skill set that is a little bit more than what an on-site student necessarily needs. Listen, you could be an amazing on-site student, but have challenges with technology and being sometimes really, organized. I don't know, but being an online student, you need some of those qualities that I think are unique to online.
Great. So just a quick follow-up question there. Many universities and colleges that offer in-person learning, they often list the student profile of their class. and as well as what they're looking for in applicants. Is it the same thing with online degrees or institutions that primarily are serving online degrees like Monroe College? Do you have that on your website as well, sort of that profile?
Into the profile, yes, we do. We definitely have it on the online section. We have information on the profile and what type of student does well online. But what I would mention, Amanda, is, if we're honest, nowadays, if you're an on-site student at pretty much any college and university in the United States, you also need to be strong with technology, right? So pretty much every on-site class at Monroe College and at most colleges and universities in the United States, every on-site class has an online component to it, which means professors are communicating with the on-site class through different platforms. You have to submit your projects online. So that goes against a little bit what I was saying before, but nowadays, if you're entering any degree program, either online or on-site, you need to be strong with technology. I think what makes the online program a bit different, like I was mentioning, is you're working more independently. Okay, you need to be a self-starter and manage your time, I think, a little bit better. You're not going to have students in the class right next to you. So you have to, I would say you have to be able to be a pretty good independent learner.
Thanks for that response, Evan. Another question here for you is, when you were going through your presentation, was it largely focused on undergraduate programs? And would you recommend pursuing a master's or professional degree online?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would say graduate programs are even more popular online than undergraduate programs. Okay, and we know the reasons why, right? When we're at a high school and we're going into our undergraduate program, we want more of that in-person experience. We're not working yet full-time for the most part. I know a lot of students are working full-time. There's that social element where you want to be on the campus and be in the clubs and be more of the social fabric of the school. While when you're doing your graduate work, you're usually have been working already. You're usually balancing a little bit more with family and work. So online's really popular for graduates. Okay, but like I said before, as an undergraduate student and as a graduate student, you can have that social interaction through the online classes. Okay, a lot of our online classes, the students in the class, they start their own WhatsApp chat and they communicate with each other on WhatsApp. So don't discount the socialization that can happen with the online course.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. A follow-up question to students who might be, prospective graduate students who might be looking at graduate programs online. Do most graduate programs require the GRE? Would students still have to take that or other similar tests for professional degrees?
It really depends upon what college or university in terms of requiring GRE or GMAT. Some of the more competitive ones will require it. Competitive, I mean, how many students apply and how many they actually admit to the program. Some programs could be less competitive in terms of getting in, but they could still be amazing programs, and they might not require it. And then I will also mention, sometimes colleges and universities, and this isn't a good thing, but I'm just going to educate everyone. Sometimes they might say something is a part of their admissions requirements on the website, but there could be some flexibility around that. For example, if you're applying to an MBA program and the admissions website says GMAT is required, and then you have a conversation with the admissions advisor and you let them know that you have 10 years of solid work experience in the business field, and you're looking to go for an MBA, there could be flexibility around not taking your GMAT. So do your research, talk to the admissions people, ask good questions, and you'll get the full picture.
I think that's an excellent point there, just to contact, the admissions counselors and ask them these questions directly to see if, that flexibility does exist. One other question here for you is, for online degree programs, are there scholarships available generally? Does Monroe College offer scholarships to international students to pursue online degree programs?
So at Monroe College, what we did is we just built in an automatic scholarship into the tuition. So at Monroe College, the answer is yes. Our tuition, which I mentioned, is significantly reduced. So the scholarship is already built into it. So we don't provide an additional scholarship because the tuition is already significantly reduced. In terms of other colleges and universities, in terms of scholarships for online, I would hypothesize that if you're not going on site to the campus, unless you have something very unique to offer academically, it probably will be challenging to get a significant scholarship to go totally online. But as I mentioned, research the tuition at the different colleges and universities, because a lot of them have a separate tuition for online than they do for on-site.
Okay. Another question coming to us from one of our viewers. Would you recommend a master's in accountancy or pursuing a CPA? Jobs sometimes tend to prefer CPA.
That's a great question. And, as you're asking that question to me, I'm thinking of our former dean of accounting at Monroe College, Jake Lamar, and he passed away a few years ago. But he used to come to me in the admissions office and say, why do you keep sending students to the business degree? They should be going into accounting, because in accounting, they're learning business, but they're learning specific skills and programs that are, job ready, and they're going to get hired really quick. So I love accounting. And I think if you're interested in business, we know the business degrees can be a little bit more general, where you're exposed to marketing and management and human resources and finance. And I love accounting because it's more focused. There's always jobs, at least in the United States, for accountants. They pay very well. And at Monroe College, I would say our top earning graduates out of college are getting jobs in accounting.
I know it's a very popular, career path here in Barbados as well, where I'm based. Just a final question here before we wrap up our Q&A this evening. Can a student transition to in-person or on-site learning through an online program? What is the transfer of credits like between sort of an online program and an on-site, or perhaps between institutions if you start a degree online?
Okay, so between institutions, like I mentioned before, the most important is that accreditation, because if you have good accreditation, and I'm recommending regional accreditation, the transferring of credits between institutions is pretty seamless, because really any college or university in the country will accept, I'm not going to say all your credits, but a bulk of your credits, as long as you're from you're at a regionally accredited institution. And it doesn't matter if you're online or on site, okay? And again, if you transfer to another school, when they receive your transcript, it doesn't say online student. To my knowledge, we don't do that at Monroe College. It's just a regular transcript, okay? If you're looking to go from online to on-site at the same institution, well, that's a whole other topic, and that's receiving your student visa. And Education USA is there to help you and give you information with that. But I'll just mention what I say to prospective students is, think of it in 3 chapters. Chapter 1 is just getting accepted to the college you want to go to. Okay, just focus on that. Chapter 2 is receiving your student visa, and that brings up a lot of different questions, right? Do you have the finances and the resources to study in the United States? And for international students, currently they have to show that they have funding for 2 semesters consecutive of tuition, of housing, of meals, and miscellaneous expenses. Okay, so that's chapter 2. And then chapter 3 is traveling to the United States. What's the cost of that? Where are you going to live? And making sure you have a good transition to be a successful on-site student.
You call it chapters, we call it 5 steps. I think that was a great transition to wrap up everything. Evan, I really want to thank you for your time this evening, for your presentation, for taking the questions from our audience. I want everybody to remember, if you have further questions or concerns or interests in studying in the United States, I strongly encourage you to go visit us online at educationusa.state.gov to find the advising center nearest to you. If you had specific questions related to Monroe College or the programs that they offer, go on to Monroe College's website, which Evan shared earlier, or you can just very easily find that. Do you have the website offhand there, Evan? Is it monroecollege.edu?
Yes, monroecollege.edu.
There we go. And make an appointment to speak with an advisor about your options. Continue to stay tuned for these regional webinars that we're hosting every Wednesday. Just next week, we're going to have our next webinar. This one is specifically more of a workshop, as mentioned at the start of this session. It's called Tips and Tricks, Find Your Perfect School Undergraduate. So we are going to be having a really hands-on training for prospective students to look at how you research your options, chapter 1, as Evan called it, and step 1, as we call it here at Education USA. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Continue to stay safe and healthy, and tune in next week for our next regional webinar. Have a good evening. Thank you, Evan.
Thank you. Have a good evening.